Yes, bye.
Okay. Dr. We're starting. Once again, you can start. Okay.
Okay.
Info, you can start.
Wait a second. Should I start now?
I'll let you know.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, Vansika, we are live now. You can start.
Okay then. Good morning, everyone. My name is Bansika Mishra. A very warm welcome to our esteemed founder, Mr. Prabhu Prasad Mishra, President, Mr. Vikram Kesari Nanda, Working President, Mr. Wasabi Anand, our Honorable Chief Guest, who is present here, Mr. Ashok Patidar, GV members, advisory members, and all my team members. Thank you, everyone, for finding time and joining us in today's webinar. We'll be discussing on the smart approaches of facing an interview and writing brilliant resumes in today's webinar. A little information before we start the session. We are live right now in our official AOBPSA YouTube channel. And if you have any questions during the session, please type them into the chat box. Let me introduce our chief speaker today, Mr. Ashok Patidar, who is a GPAT 2016 ranker and an alumni of NIPER, Kolkata. He has an experience of around 5 years and is currently working with Novartis Pharma. I request you to start the session, sir.
Thank you, Vashika, for your warm greetings. And hello, everyone. I'm Ashok Patidar. Currently, I will be presenting my webinar on resume writing and facing interviews. Because I guess most of you people are from BPharm background and final year. So let's start the presentation. Okay, so for starting any web, I will just go through few definitions, like what is a resume and what is a cover letter. As you know, a resume is a formal document that a job applicant creates to itemize their qualification for a position. And a cover letter is nothing but just a summary of details about yourself and the post you're applying for. As per definition, the cover letter provides further detail on how your skills that aligns with the role, what you can bring to the team, and why you want the position to the hiring managers. Cover letter also allows the recruiter and hiring managers to develop a better understanding of your suitability for a position. So these are the two main things which are required for applying any post. If you're for applying for any post, you should always prepare a resume and a cover letter for that specific post. Going ahead, the different types of resume what we prepare for any job application, these are United States curriculum vitae, European resumes. These are basically divided based on the geographical locations. Like in USA, we call it as a curriculum vitae, that is around 2 pages, and in Europe, you call it as resumes. This is a marketing resume. This will be benefited for people who are from marketing background, or like you people, if you are going for a marketing job, or you can say for a sales job, then you will be requiring a resume for marketing. If you're going for an R&D or a development part, then you will be requiring this European resume or curriculum vitae. In Europe, the curriculum vitae is more for academics, and in USA, the curriculum vitae or resume are the same thing. But in Europe, these are two different things. In Europe, if you go, you have to apply for job, you go for resume, and if you go for a PhD, then you have to go for a curriculum vitae. Then other part is the entertainment resume. If you go for any entertainment industry, you go for an entertainment resume. If you go for a design and architecture, then you go for a design and architecture resumes. These two are mostly not used in a pharma industry. Mostly we are using these three types of resumes in a pharma industry: marketing, European resume, and curriculum vitae. Moving ahead, so starting with a resume preparation. So what things you have to keep in mind for preparing a resume? Basic components which should be in resume. what sections you have to keep in resume. The basic sections what you have to keep in resume are personal information, objective, education qualification, work experience and related experience, awards and honors, activities, hobbies and skills. I have lined this components in the chronology order as required. Like personal information, this is the most important information which a recruiter seeks for, because if you are providing a personal information on the first hand only on the resume, it will be easy for a recruiter to identify your name, your details, your contact details, because it's seen that an average of recruiter spends up hardly 6 seconds of time for a resume overview. If the recruiter is not able to find your contact details, then he might go for other options, because contacting a candidate is one of the most important part. After providing your personal information, the next object is the objective. Some might think why we need an objective for a resume. Objective basically defines what are your aims, what are your goals for the specific post. Then the comes education qualification. I have kept this as a second part after objective for you people, because since you are a fresher, then you might not have the relevant work experience. If you are having an experience, then you can put your work experience above the education qualifications. In education qualification, try to put your education in a chronological order. Like if you're BPharm graduate, put your BPharm graduation as a first, then followed by say a higher secondary and senior secondary. Later on, work experience and related experience. In this section, for BPharm freshers who are appearing in the final year, you can put your voluntary experiences, or you can give your training experiences. Like you might be going through a training for 1 month or 2 months training, or you can be going for a summer trainings. You can add that summer training part in this work experience and related experiences. Then comes the award and honors. This is also an important part. Many times we think, why are we adding awards and honors? And is this required in a resume? Yes, this is a required in a resume, because this helps you to highlight what different things or what achievements you have done through your career cycle. Like in education, if you are having any awards in presentations and in seminars, you can present them in awards and honors, followed by activities and hobbies. These are a brief description for yourself, like what hobbies you are engaged apart from the technical or educational background what you are having. So this helps a recruiter to identify how a person is a multitask. Then comes skills. Skills, this is a tricky part in a resume, because skills, you have to demonstrate skills based upon the openings, what skills you are applying for. If you are applying for a marketing job, you have to showcase a different skills. If you are applying for an R&D, you have to showcase a different skills based upon these components. And one more thing, if you're preparing a resume, it should be always a different resume for a different post. Like you can see, this is a skill set is a different for a marketing, this is a different for a R&D. Even objective will be a different for a marketing job and for an R&D or a different roles. Education qualification will be almost same. This will be not much difference in both R&D or development and marketing. After you made your differentiation, after you have segregated your details based upon these sections, now you are starting for preparation of a resume. So preparing a resume, so first is choose the right format. This is the foremost important thing for choosing a right format, because in today's date we will be discussing a traditional resume. In market or in digital world, you might be finding a n number of resume formats, like which are having a graphical representations. They might be having a colorful designs and cartoons and different fonts and all. But based on my personal experience, what I recommend is go for a traditional options. Why? Because recruiters are searching the resumes on different portals, different websites, using different tools and softwares. If you go for a resume which is highly complex, having a graphics and a lot of different fonts, then there are high chances that the recruiter might not identify your resume in a search options. This is like you might be not identified or not scrutinized during the process. So I recommend go for a simple traditional resume formatting, so that your chances are higher for selection and scrutiny of the resume. After you have selected the resume format, add the contact information and personal details as mentioned above in the previous slide. This is the first thing we have to add, and this should be done in a topmost headings. Like on a, generally we go for a left hand mentioning our name details. Like in personal details, what you have to mention are like contact details, your phone number, the number. Make sure the number what you're giving is available and always in use. It should not be not reachable or not in good services. The second thing is email id. Giving your email contact details is one of the quite tricky thing. Here what people do is they are giving our email ids which are having non professional names. For making an email id, what we professional prefer is having a simple email id which looks a more professional. Like I will give my example. My email ID is an Ashok Patidar 305 at gmail.com. It's describing my name and a few digits which is required for an email ID creation. But you might see some funky like lonely soul and other @gmail.com. Please try to avoid this type of email IDs in your resume, because this might make an impact that you are not professional approach. After sharing your also, yeah, one more thing, you have to add your current location to your contact informations, because this helps the recruiter to identify which part of the country or city you are staying in. Like if a recruiter is from Odisha and you have highlighted your post from Odisha Bhubaneswar, then there is high chances that the recruiter might look for your options rather than going for a people who is from Rajasthan or Gujarat who is far away. So mentioning your city or current location is one of the important thing. In contact information, try to mention three things: mobile number, email ID, and your current location. After mentioning the contact details, same as we have discussed above, starting with a heading statement and a resume objective. Objective make Try to make objective as clear and as short as possible. And for each job, again I'm saying, for each job you have to write a different objective. Don't generalize an objective. Don't make a generic statement for an objective. List your relevant work experience and key achievements based upon the sections we have discussed above. Reference your education correctly. Referencing your education is very important, because nowadays what is going on is we are having a background verification for any recruitment process. If you're not providing your education or any details which is correct, then there are chances for rejection also. In this referencing, I will also say try to mention your universities or college which are more known to the organizations. If you are having a university which is more reputed, then try to go for a university name. Put relevant skills that fit for the job. Again, this is a personalized option. Go for skills required for that particular job. Don't put skills that are not required for that job. Include additional information sections in above mentioned section. Apart from above mentioned sections, you can also add different sections which are required or which you might have. Like you have publications. I have not mentioned for publication section, but you can also go for publication. If you are having any publications like news, you are having a publication any journal. Journal I'm saying for a research journal like Nature or elsewhere, or you have a cross links. And if a number of journals we are having, but complement your resume with a cover letter. As mentioned above, only cover letter is one of the major thing, and this adds a different edge to a resume. The ones who are sending their resume without a cover letter and ones who are sending their resume with cover letter makes a lot of difference for a recruiter, because cover letter will help you to identify what your object is, what your summary is. Reading a cover letter, a recruiter might know an overall idea background of your resume. He might search for, yes, this person is serious and he's making efforts for a cover letter, for as compared to a person who is not making an effort for making a cover letter. So cover letter is one of the most important part for a resume preparation. It's not necessary you prepare a cover letter in a different way. You can make a cover letter in a email also. The mail you are sending, that can be your cover letter also. After you have made your resume, the important part is proofread. Proofread your resume at least twice, because you're sending your resume to recruitment, and it should be an error free. As we say, it should be an FTR, that is the first time right. It should be first time right, and there should be no error. If you're having an error in your resume, then this gives a negative impact, that you are not focused on thing what you're doing, because this is the first impression that a resume gives of your to a recruiter or a recruiting manager. So try to proofread and minimize as possible as error, and I will say try to make a resume error free. Save your resume and email your resume the right way. Save. So save your resume is, we are preparing a resume, mostly we are preparing a resume in a Word. So save your resume is for saving your resume in a PDF format rather than going for a Word document. This is, I'm giving an example from my side, because when I have asked people for sharing their resumes, they have shared their resumes in a DOC format, that is a doc format. And the biggest disadvantage of the doc format is, if you are sharing your resume in a doc format, then it might change based upon the version the person is viewing in. Like if I'm viewing in a 2021 and you have prepared a resume in 2019, then it might look different. And it's a vice versa. If you have prepared a resume in 2021 Microsoft, and I'm viewing in 2019 Microsoft or 2018 Microsoft, then there is a high chances that the features you have used, this might not be available in my format, and I will be seeing a different resume what you have prepared. So for that, go for a PDF format. Always share your resume in a PDF format. There are two benefits for PDF format. First, if you share your resume in a PDF format, then there is no change in the formatting you have done. Second, your resume cannot be edited by anyone else who is viewing the resume. So always save your resume in a PDF format and share your resume via email in a PDF format only. So after preparing a resume, the key points to secure a job, because you have made a resume, and then how to use your resume for securing a job. Use your objective to focus the reader. This is the main thing we are discussing, objective, because after reading your details of personal context, the second part which a recruiter will be reading is an objective. And as I mentioned, it's a just game of 6 seconds. If a person have an idea of what you are trying to focus on, your objective is clear, then he will go for further reading. If the recruiter is not getting bond with your objective, then he might not read your resume completely. So make sure that your resume is more engaging with your objective, because as I say, 6 seconds are a fraction of game, and if within 6 seconds if I'm able to make an impact, then you will get a opening chance, and if you're not able, then someone else will get a chance. Showcase the skills that an employer wants. Again, these are the basic things. Always showcase the skills what an employer is looking for, because you might have n number of skills, but you have to showcase only those skills in a resume that an employer is looking forward, and not all skills. Use your experience as a roadmap. This might be not a currently not be valid for you people because you are fresher, but yeah, if you are experienced people, use your past experiences on looking a job for what you want in a future and how you want to make your career move ahead. So this will be acting as a roadmap on what jobs you have to apply for and how you have to prepare your resumes. Strategies for using your education. So as we are from pharma background, use your strategy, like what strategies you have for education backgrounds. Like if you're going for marketing, then there is different education strategies which are used. If you're going for a R&D background, then there is a different strategies of education which are required. So use your education qualification as a basis for selecting a job. The value of your volunteer work. Yeah, the value for volunteer work. Why I'm saying again a value for volunteer work, as we mentioned above, the volunteer work adds an edge to your resume. Like you are doing your normal routine work, apart from routine, what you are having an additional edge, that's the volunteer work. It makes an recruiter that you are engaged in a different task and you are able to go for a multitasking roles, because nowadays what people are preferring is multitasking rather than a single focused job. Just practices using resumes. So how you should use your resumes and online applications. Apply your resumes using online applications. For online applications, I'm saying we have different portals for online applications like Naukri.com, Monster.com, Indeed. You can also go search for LinkedIn jobs. There are n number of jobs which are available on different portals, and you can prepare your resume, search your based upon the openings in these portals, and you can apply. Apart from these job portals, you might be aware that we are having different career sections in each organizations. If you go for any organization and you search the website, there is always an option for careers. You can go in the careers option on different organization websites. In pharma, like we have n number of organizations, like currently I'm working in Novartis. You can go for a Novartis website, you can search for careers options. You can go for a Teva organization, you can go for career options, and you have Sun Pharma, you have Raintaxi, you have Cipla, you have Abbott, you have Pfizer, you have Alembic, you have n number of organizations are having their own websites, and they are publishing their recruitments on their career portals. You can also go and career portals and search on careers what jobs you are interested in and on what you want to apply for. After you apply, how to use your resume during an interview. This part I will be discussing in our later section, that is the interview, how to face an interview, resume and networking. uh, Networking mainly operates for people like you have a network, like we are having a webinar. This is a network, mostly you're creating a network. So creating a network makes you enable to find an options. You can have an opening knowledge. You can gain a knowledge from anyone who is in your network. You can ask your seniors for any opening. This is the network thing which is going on, and using your network you can apply for a job. Resumes and informational interviews, this will be covered in a later section. If you have any questions, you can share in the message box. I will answer in after the session is completed. Conducting a proactive versus a reactive job search. So as we discussed, we have prepared resume, we know how to use a resume. Now thing is how to conduct a job search, because job search is a competitive thing, and there's a very much difference between proactive and reactive, because no recruiter will come to you and offer a job setting, yes we have an opening, please come. You have to look for a proactive approach, and you have to be active for looking a job. As we discussed, identify companies, identify your area of interest in which you want to make your career, and the organization which are working in that area. Determining your fitness for the opening which are you applying for. Finding a contact, that is a finding a network, anyone who is working in that company and organization, because a contact who is working in that organization will help you in providing a reference, because a recruiter who is having a reference will prefer a candidate, because there is no, yes we know how this is a person who can be a value added. So after this, conducting a proactive, and you have prepared a resume, you have done your job search profile, you have applied for jobs, and now is the thing for interview. Your resume is selected. Now you want a job interview, or facing for an interview. Difference between a formal resume and informal resume. Yeah, Chetan, the biggest difference between formal resume and informal resume is, like we go for traditional resume. That's a formal resume. What I have mentioned about the different sections which are covering in. These are the formal resumes. Informal resumes are you are making a normal uh, graphical representation. That's an informal resume. As I said, mentioning of different graphics and all, which might be looking a more attractive, but that's not a formal format. Somesh, I will answer your question after this completing this part. Facing an interview. So the biggest thing is how to face an interview, because most of time we are having a fear and phobia of what might an interview ask, how will I face interview, what are the questions which are me asked. So starting with interview facing. Before we go for interview facing, I will tell you different rounds of interview which are being conducted as of today in industry, and different types of interviews. The On your screen you can see different types of interviews are telephone, video, face to face, and assessment centers. So the telephone interview is one of the basic round, or you can say call it as a first round interview, because when a recruiter try to contact you, he might be calling through telephone, and this is the first round. Because a first round, if you are asking someone is taking your interview, this might be a recruiter non formal interview and formal interview. Telephone round, this can be a technical also, because in today's pharma industry we are going for telephone round one, that is a technical. On this there is no conferencing, you just go for an interview that is on normal call only. A person asks question and you have to answer question. And for telephone interview, I will say there are many times we have observed things like people are trying to Google on a telephone interview. So my personal recommendation: never try for Googling on a telephone interview, because you might think that the person sitting on other side of the phone is not aware and not able to see you, and you can easily Google answers and tell him. So this is not a right practice, because the person who is sitting the side of the table is having a knowledge of how to conduct an interview. He's counting how much time you're taking to answer, and whether you are reading a answer or you are speaking from your side. So this is never try to cheat in an interview. Then comes the video interview. This is a bit more advanced form of the telephone interview as compared to a telephone interview, because in this person is able to see you face to face. You can say video interview and face to face interview are more or same in this current scenario, because after COVID things have changed, and after COVID only the people are going for a video interview. Before COVID it was just only face to face interview, telephone and face to face interview. But now people are preferring for video rounds as compared to face to face interview. But recently they have again started for a face-to-face interview, because always a face-to-face is better than a video conferencing. Again, going for a video conferencing interview, I will share a few things on video conferencing. First, when you're going for a video conferencing interview, make sure you are well prepared for the interview. Well prepared in the sense, I'm dressing sense, you are in a formal dress always, because if you're sitting in an interview and the person is virtually viewing you, he might screen you based upon your dressing sense, because dressing sense makes an environment whether you are formal or not. If you are giving an interview in a casual way in a round neck t-shirt, this gives an approach that you have a casual approach regarding the interview seriousness. So always go for a formal dress. For boys I will say go for a shirt collared, or if you are using a t-shirt then go for a collared t-shirt, because a round neck or a deep neck is not a dress that you should wear in an interview. For girls candidate, I will say go for a formal dress. And there are n number of dresses, and you might be more aware of how what a formal dress goes for. I will say never go for an informal dresses in an face-to-face interview. In a face-to-face interview, recently we have also find people try to cheat, like they prepare their answers on a screen and they read out. So don't do that, because this can be captured in an interview. And few of my knowns, I have seen the candidates who have been rejected based on this type of techniques. Face to face is same as face to face what a person speaks to face to face. And assessment centers, this might be valid for a campus placement. If you're going for a campus placement, then there is an option like you are having an n number of candidates for interview. So for recruitment process, this is not possible to take hundreds of interview on a single day. So for that point, they are using an assessment centers as a trick for identifying correct candidates. They might scrut from out of 100 or 10 candidates for scrutiny, and then they might take for a video conferencing, or they can take for a face-to-face interview. So these are the different types of interviews, this which are currently mode of examination in pharma industry or in any other industry. Homework before you go for an interview, because you are selected, now you have interview, you have prepared yourself, you are ready, you're formal and everything, you're ready. But what are the homework you need to do before going for an interview? So first is employer. Try to find information as much as you can find for an employer for who has contacted you for a role is an opening for which you have applied, and it's the opening for which you are giving an interview. So knowing your role, your post, your position is must. If you don't know the role for which you're applying, then you might end up giving answers which are not relevant for that specific role. Interview panel. So interview panel, how you might inquire about the interview panel. So if you are having a face-to-face interview, then there is a very less chance you might inquire about the interview panel. If you are having a face-to-face interview, then there is chance you can only inquire your interview panel based upon your contact or networks. The people who are working in that company or organization, they might help you in finding the interview panel whom is taking your interview. If you are going for a video conference interview, then there is a trick where you can use it, because mostly a recruiter is sharing a link for joining an interview. In that link, you might have a option for the name who is taking your interview. He will be also getting the same link through the mail. So you can go for a link in the name, and you can Google that link name, candidate's name or email ID what he's having. You can search him on LinkedIn. You can search him in the organization who is working there, and you can know the questions what they are asking based on the interview panel. You can know the nature of interviewer, what they are pretending, they are searching for, what type of questions they are asking, what is their behavioral nature of questions answers, what they are expecting, what is their favorite topics, their area of interest. So if you go for this basic homework, then it will be easy for you for facing an interview, because you know you have a image, you have an idea what an interview might ask. And if you're not going for this basic homework, then you will be sitting blank in an interview, and you will be expecting any question which is coming from out of space. So tips for an interview: you have prepared everything, you have done your homework, everything. The first is be yourself. As I mentioned, never try to be smart or underconfident in an interview. Be yourself. Just be yourself. What you have knowledge, what you are saying, and be confident in that. Maintain an eye contact. Yes, eye contact is an important part in an interview. Many times you tend to make your eye contact as minimum as you, because you are not confident, you are shy, sorry, you are shy, or you are trying to avoid the man who is taking your interview or woman who is taking your interview. So try to maintain eye contact, maximum eye contact, because if you are making an eye contact with a person, that makes him feel that yes, the person is confident and he's having much more knowledge and he can share it very well. Second is body language. Body language is like sitting in a proper positions, because if you're sitting in a lean and relaxed position in an interview, then this gives a negative impact. Dress appropriately, as we discussed already. Always go for a formal dress in an interview. Never go for an informal dress in an interview. Know your CV, job, and company. Again, CV is the, you must know your CV, what you have written, as we have also discussed, proofreading. The reason for proofreading is, if you make a CV, if you proofread the CV, you know what you have written in a CV. Because if you're not aware of the CV, what you have written, and if you have mentioned something what you're not aware of, and the recruiter might ask the questions that is written in your CV. My experience is a recruiter asks questions only based on your CV, what you have mentioned. He will never ask any question which is out of your CV, because the person who is taking interview is not aware of your background. He is not aware. He is judging you from your CV. So make sure that you make your CV correctly error proof, and you memorize your CV, so that anything asked from CV is not alien to you. Job and company. As we discussed again, job is a profile for which you have applied for, and the company in which you want to join the organization. Because if you have a slight knowledge of the organization, what they are doing, what they're dealing in, what is their nature of dealing in, and what is the organization size, this adds a value to an interview. If you are aware of the organization, then this adds a edge for your part. So, standing out from the crowd. This part is important. Once you have given your interview, it's done. Now, what you have to do? Because interview is over, you're not aware whether you're selected or not selected. So, how you can stand different from others? Because you might be 10 people might be giving the interview for a single post, but only one candidate will be selected. So, use your notes to follow up. Always use your thank notes to follow, because giving a thank notes makes an impact that yes, this person has been interviewed for a specific role and might try to give a thanks note after 2 hours, 1 hour, or one day, so that this makes an hampering on the interviewer's mind that yes, this person has been interviewed. Prepare your references. Prepare your contacts who are working in the organization. Make them aware, yes, I have given an interview for this current post, and if someone asks them, please provide your feedback for that for me. Follow up without stalking. This is a major part for mostly recruiters. This is for, you should not follow up too much follow up, or you should not stalk your recruiter. Stalking is like, you should not call every day, whether for any update, you should ask them gently, politely, as we mentioned above. Use thanks note for follow ups. Ask, well, if they are mentioning that okay, we will declare the result after 1 week, then ask only after 1 week. Don't ask in between week, like you are asking every second day, any update. This is stalking. This makes an annoying nature that this candidate is stalking or making a problem. So try to avoid that situation. Only follow up in the mentioned time. Manage your online presence. This is a different part. This online presence is mostly linked for your online social medias. Social media, I will say this is be only for LinkedIn or professional platforms, because if you're applying for a professional role, the recruiter will only look for your professional backgrounds only, and not for your Facebook or Instagram. But yeah, the recruiter might look for your LinkedIn profile. So since a LinkedIn is a professional social media, you should always maintain your professional profiles in a very selected manner. You should never share anything which is not appropriate on your professional social medias like LinkedIn. So this is on my part. Now it's an open up for your people. You can ask what questions you want. Thank you, everyone. I will start with the question sessions.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Yes, sir. So I was asking, how could we do internship while we are studying in B Pharmacy 6 sem?
B Farm 6M, yeah. For so much for internships, so you can always apply for intern programs. Like in many organizations, they are having an intern programs. As for opening, I mentioned in career options, in websites on the organization website, you go for career options. There is always an opening for internships. The recruiters might contact you for internships, because you might have a 2 months internship or you have 3 months internship. You can always go for internship programs, but you have to contact the organizations for that career part. You have to always look for a career options and any opening which is looking for an interns.
Can we do it in online mode? Because the study is
Uh,
also there.
no, for internship, which type of internship you want to have? To be more
Sir, in
precise,
pharmaceutical industries, any type.
to be frank, in pharmaceutical industry, like I'm working in a pharma analytical department. That's a
Yes.
development part. So in development, we don't have a work from home or online options, because
Medical coding.
Yeah, medical coding, you can go for medical coding, or you can go for a docking, that is a medicinal chemistry part,
Yes,
which
sir.
is more sort of Python you can go for, or you can go for a Pymol. That's a different softwares which are available. You can go for online courses rather than you can say internship. In
Okay, sir.
name of internship, you can go for an online courses. What I'm understanding from your point of view,
Yeah,
you
yes.
want to do an online, so go for online courses that are more sort of voluntary courses and not an internship, and that you can add in your extra knowledge
Yes, sir.
awards
In
and
resume we can add that.
yeah, yeah, it will add an edge to your resume
Yes, sir.
because
Sir,
having a knowledge.
currently I have got some certificates that is from group discussion. I'm in Rotary International member also, and
Mhm.
currently doing services. Then again, what other things the company wants? That one I want to know, sir.
See, the company for a fresher, generally they are looking for your technical knowledges.
Yes,
You
sir.
have a awards, that is awesome. It will always add to your value. You can always mention any awards you have received in your career in your awards and honor section. And I will recommend always to mention this in your career sections,
Yes, sir.
award section, sorry, because it will add an edge only. And in terms of what you want as a fresher, go for education expertise. That is, you should know what you're reading or taking from your BPharm. You should be good in your technical knowledge. That's the major thing or major crux for your person who is looking career in pharma.
Yes, sir.
Anything else?
No, sir. Fine, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thanks. Thanks.
So we have another questions in the chat box that is from Shrutiza. So she asked like, so can you cite some examples on what to mention in a resume in objective and skill section? Hello.
Sorry for interruption. Yeah. Let me start with this sections. Anyone on call who want to connect?
Yeah.
Anyone? Okay, Vasant.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, you can say.
Yeah. So I was just seeing, there's a question from Shruti Jha. So she asked, like,
Mhm.
what are some examples, like what particular examples which we can mention in a resume in objective and skills section?
Objective and skill section. Yeah, for I will give an example for an R&D. Since I'm a R&D guy, I will give an for an R&D person. You can mention in your objectives like your technical knowledges. Like if you're applying for a R&D post in an analytical in which I'm working, you can mention I have a technical knowledge of analytical instrumentations and their interpretations, expertise in data interpretation for HPLCs, or a good knowledge of HPLC or analytical handlings. So you can go for specific targets. If you are applying for a marketing or sales job, like if you're applying for a MRship, you can add your objective add for a communication skills, because what a MRship requires is a communication, a good communicator, a good person to make contacts, deals. So this will be for communication skills, for marketing, sorry, and for analytical or from R&D, you will be requiring more technical oriented objectives.
Yes, sir. Guys, do we have any other further questions in the? Anyone want to? Yes, just one, please.
Sir, actually, I want to know that is BPharm is sufficient industrial line or MPharm is mandatory? Because I have means many
Mhm.
members have suggested me that MPharm is means maximum mandatory. BPharm is
Mhm.
not available in industry
Yeah,
line for
just on
earning
the
more money.
I completely agree with you, and I know that was I was expecting this question only, because since you are BPharm freshers and starting your career ahead, whether to go for master's degree or you should go for a job opening or job search.
Yes, sir.
To be precise, what I will answer is, if you want to go make your career in a research field, that's the development R&D field, you must have a master's degree, because if you go for job without a master's, in the sooner or later in the stages you will face that, no, if I had a master's degree, it will add to my value, because after certain time it won't help you in promotions. Yeah, you might get a job in a R&D department, but later on during promotions it won't help you. So masters is a must for an R&D department. If you go for a production or quality control, uh, bfarm is sufficient. You can go for, or mostly people are going in a QC, quality control, or production department with bfarm. But my personal experience, if you have time, you have energy, and you have want to make your career in industry, go for a higher education, because higher education will always add an edge to your career.
Thank you, sir.
Excuse me, sir. So can we do it in distance that M farms?
Distance in M-Farm.
Yeah.
Seriously, if I say, it won't add an edge,
Okay, sir.
because you might be not learning the things what you are, as I said, na, you might be showing something which you are not aware of in
Yeah.
your resume. And if a person asks the same thing, you might be not aware. But see, to be frank, in industry, people are doing n number of things, and they are also going for a distance. But
Yes, sir.
masters, I think distance, there is no option for M-Farm in a distance course. There is no B Farm is also not a distance course. It's also a complete regular course, I guess. Because if you
Yes,
go
sir.
for a GPAT, oh sorry, this uh, AICT, PCA Pharmacy Council Gazette, M-Farm is a regular course. As per the Gazette notice, M-Farm is a regular course, and your
Yes.
attendance will be showed as a regular in your any college you are taking an admission. It won't be shown as a distance course.
Sir,
Sir,
what are the top means in pharmaceutical industries? We
Mhm.
don't have any knowledge as we have not gone and not visited also. So, what are the top roles or top positions we could reach after completing M farm or B farm? That thing I want to know.
Top roles,
Yes, sir.
top roles you can reach to at a CEO level.
Yes, sir.
That is a chief executive officer after chairman, or you can even own your own organization. So having a role in an organization is not based upon your this part, it's based upon your caliber. Yeah,
Yes, sir.
you can start your career like if you're M-Farm graduate. I will give an example of R&D again. If you're an M-Farm graduate, you can go for analytical R&D or chemical R&D. Chemical R&D is for CRD people. What we go for an medicinal chemistry. If you have a good strong hold over medicinal chemistry, you can go for an chemical R&D, that is CRD, or you can say synthesis. If you have good hand in analysis, you can go for an analytical R&D or analysis. If you have a good hand in formulation, that is tablets preparation, you can go in a formulation department. There's formulators, which we call as formulators. You
Yes,
go
sir.
for a formulations. So there are different roles based on the positions. You might join as a junior associate or a junior scientist, and then go on senior levels, manager, senior manager, director, and so on based upon your correct caliber.
Yes, sir. So, apart from college that they are providing campus, can we ourselves do anything? Contact with the means companies.
Yeah, yeah, obviously. As I mentioned, na, apart from your campus, you can always search your organization's website portals. You can
Yes, sir.
always go on search website portals. There is an option called as career. If you
Yes,
go
sir.
on career option, you will find n number of openings for that particular organization. You
So, what we
don't
have to
need
type in Google? Career.
in Google, like if you, I will give an example. If you go for a pharma,
Yes, sir.
you go for Novartis or you go for any company, which organization you want to join? Let's start with your organization.
Sir,
Which
Cipla
organization you
or
want to join?
maybe Sun Pharma as a
Sun
top.
Pharma. Okay, so you want to join. Suppose you want to join in Sun Pharma. So
Yes,
what you have to do is you don't have to wait for an person from Sun Pharma to contact you for an
yes,
opening. You can do is you can go on a Sun Pharma website. There will be a careers option. On career option, you can go and click on career and search whether any opening is there in Sun Pharma or not based upon your qualifications. If not, you can create your profile on that website, Sun Pharma's website, and you can upload your resume, so that in future if there is an opening in Sun Pharma for that particular post, then they will have your resume in their portal. So you can always post your resume on organization portals, websites, making your account.
Thank you.
Yes. Yes. Thank you, Somesh. Somesh, further questions. We have
Yeah,
pretty more
we
questions from
have, I
YouTube.
guess,
Yes.
Navneet, if I'm not JM Navneet.
Yes. Navneet, you
Yeah,
can
Navneet.
unmute.
Yes, sir. Good morning, sir.
Good morning. Good morning.
So, so while attending an interview, a
Mhm.
candidate is often asked a question like a tricky question like why should we hire or what extra values can you add to the company?
Yeah, yeah.
So uh,
Mhm.
how can
Mhm.
we answer that confidently, keeping in mind that we should not be
Mhm.
overconfident?
Yeah. See, for the same thing is be yourself. What I have mentioned in the interview part, be yourself. That's the only thing what a person seeks. If you are confident, be yourself and maintain an eye contact. If you're maintaining an eye contact and being yourself, like you have what value you can add. You can say, yeah, I can add my knowledge part, what I'm bringing with me, an expertise in X role. If you're going for a marketing job, you can say I have an expertise in communication. I can add value to organization by making more profits on my area, adding more profits, because anything what works for us is profit. And if you go for a technical role, you can say I have an expertise in this X field, and I can add value to the organization by making my expertise utilized in the organization for this particular issue. If there's come any issue, and I can provide my expertise on this part.
Okay, sir. And sir, another question.
Mhm.
So, what is the most vulnerable section that in the a resume where
Mhm.
most of the candidates make a mistake?
Yeah, that's your hobbies. Mostly are writing their hobbies which they don't even know, or they're not even practicing that hobbies. Because few recruiters, what they, if they go for tricky part, if you're written a hobby like doing a X thing, or you say you have written hobby like playing a volleyball game, and you're not aware of what are rules, a recruiter might ask, because this is always done. They might ask a question from your hobby also. So always make sure your resume is proofread and correct, and you are aware of each and every word which you have written in your resume.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Making a resume which is not, of which you are not aware, that's the biggest mistake.
Sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay.
So, so we have another question from YouTube.
Hmm.
So the question is from Aditya Naray. So
Okay.
he meant to ask, so what type of technical knowledge we acquired during our Bachelor of Pharmacy so that we can get a job in
Hmm.
research and development after the completion of B Farm and M Farm?
See, as I mentioned, in B Farm, after completing B Farm, you need to go for specialization. If you're going in a development part, you have to make your stream specialized. Like you have different options like pharmaceutics, that is the foundation of pharmaceutics part, going in an analytical part, going in a medical part, that is medicinal chemistry. If you're going for synthesis part, you will go for a CRD team, that is an API, active formulations, active pharmaceutical ingredient, API. And you are going for an analytical part, you have analysis. What we have in BPharm, we have analysis 1 and 2. If you're going for a annual sessions in which we study for HPLC, NMR, IR, I guess we study everything. In Sutics part, we study for bioinformatics, pharmacokinetics, and formulations like DSOs we are performing in Sutics part, if I'm not wrong, because I have done my bachelor's around 2015. I have completed, so it's a long time, and I might be not aware what is the current roles which are you studying in. But these are the things which you can go for. And in job profile, there are different and number of options which you can secure a job after completing your graduation and masters. I guess for that, we will requiring a different, because discussing the same many things in a one session, it won't be possible. But you can go for a different roles like analytical, chemical. You can go for pharmacoinformatics. You can go for medical PV, that is pharmacovigilance. You can go for a medical coding. You can go for medical writing. You can go for regulatory affairs even. That is one of the major roles they are demanding for regulatory affairs. You can go for auditing, but this all requires a master's degree. And after B Farm, you can go for quality control, you can go for sales. But adding a to in current scenario, adding a having a master's degree is one of the major requirement.
Yes, sir. So that's another question from Tanusri Giri. So
Mhm.
she asked, sir, is there any difference in jobs,
Mhm.
especially in formulation, like any gender bias which we have, like if a male person doing a formulation job and female person doing a formulation job? Is there any
No, no. See, I won't comment upon this part because in pharma industry, the things have been changing and the organizations are working on gender equality, unbiasedness, and they are empowering everyone equally. So this is just a myth. There is no biasness and there is no difference between a male or female candidate. A female candidate should never think that she is not capable of X job and our organization will not select her just because of the gender. So gender is just a matter of documentation only. There is no difference in role for gender. If you are caliber, then you're selected, irrespective of your gender, male or female.
Okay, sir. So we have another question from Nimisha Kaur. So she asked, so after B Farm, if you choose MBA in pharmaceutical management, will
Mhm.
it be beneficial in job perspective? So
Yeah.
I would also be
Obviously.
add this question of myself, including that.
Okay, sure. Anand, yes, if you go for a MBA, that is a pharmaceutical MBA, this will always add an edge. Because I'm saying again and again, in pharma, we have vast different profiles. We have R&D, we have marketing, we have sales, we have n number of things which you can go for. Because and MBA will add an edge because you have a knowledge of management. So having an MBA, you can go for management parts like project management. You can go for a project management team, but that will be completely a different job role as compared to pharmaceutical. There you won't be utilizing your bachelor's knowledge because MBA is a different path and B Farm is a different path. But yeah, sure. MBA will add an edge and you have an n number of openings after MBA also in pharmaceuticals, in pharmaceutical organizations.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. So we have another question from
Mhm,
Balram Samantrai. So
mhm.
it was, sir, what is a thank you note after interview? Is it for offline, online interview, or it's important only in face-to-face interview?
Uh, yeah, you can use offline thanks note in any mode of interview because if you are going for an online interview, you have an email ID. You can share offline thanks note. Hey, thanks. I have been interviewed for this part. Thank you for considering me on the X post, and this will be for online interview mode. For offline, you can give a thanks note to the recruiter who has provided a chance because you don't have a person in face to face for making a thanks note, but you have a recruiter's details with you. So in face to face interview, you can give a thanks note to the recruiter so that he might be aware that yes, this person has been interviewed, and he will be asking the your profile role to the person who has been interviewed you. So based on your end, he will be asking the person who is taking your interview in face to face mode.
Yes,
So
sir.
thanks note is always important, whether it's online or offline.
Okay, sir. So we have Sanjeev Pradhan have raised your hand. Sanjeev,
Hmm.
you could unmute yourself and ask the question. Sanjeev, I guess he's not anymore with us. Like,
He's not.
yeah.
Yeah. Shivi has a question in comment. As technical knowledge is important, so how can we apply for industrial training? Yeah, Shivi. Again, same thing for industrial training. You need to contact your networks, your placement sales, or your training coordinator in your college. If you're having a training coordinator in your college, they will have a links in industries who will provide you access for trainings, industrial trainings. For B Farm, I guess it's a 1 month industrial training mandate for registering as a registered pharmacist, if I'm not wrong. So for industrial training, you can always contact to your colleagues or friends who are working or seniors who are working in the organization or your training player coordinator in your college. They will help you in industrial trainings.
Yes, sir.
Jaswant, best course in M-Pharm pharmaceutical analysis and which part of pharmacy industry we can earn more. Just one best part for you is if you go for M-Pharm, any degree will add you value. And in terms of earning, if you have a caliber, you will earn lakhs and crores. So earning will be a secondary in initial stages. I will say don't focus for a higher ranks or higher income at the day zero, but I'm sure it will add value and you will earn over the time. Yes, money takes a time. It's not in pharmaceutical, at least it's not a one moment game. Or you, and don't be disheartened for comparing anyone who is working in different sectors like IT sector. Mostly what we hear is IT sector is earning X number of things, N number of jobs they are having. They are having so high packages and all that. Don't be disheartened. Don't be demoralized, because if you go for attrition rate, different sectors are having higher attrition rates as compared to pharma sectors. So pharma sector is one of the booming sector, and be positive, and you will obviously earn a lot. Best of luck for that part, and you can go for anything. So takes analysis, both are equally important. Even you can go for regulatory affairs also. Now we are having M-Pharm in regulatory affairs. We are having M-Pharm in biopharmaceutics. We are M-Pharm. You can, for M-Pharm courses, you can have n number of M-Pharm courses available in today's scenario. Sanjeev is after M-Pharm pharmacology. Yeah, scope for M-Pharm after pharmacology. Sanjeev, after M-Pharm pharmacology, you can go for, if you want to continue in pharmacology only, you can go for toxicology departments in industry. We have different pharmacology and toxicology departments in industry.
Yes. Another question from Pradesh Kumar Gui.
Hmm.
Is the importance of pharmaceutical biotechnology and form of industries?
Pharmacology, because we are having biotechnology, we have having gene editing. We have currently, if you go for industry medicines part, now mostly industries are going for gene therapy. They are going for biologics, biosimilars. So biotechnology is coming future.
Yes, sir. So now we have our anchor Bansika Mishra. I have a question. Bansika, hello.
Yeah, Varshika.
What are the things we can put on the achievement section?
In your achievement, like for B-Farm, you can put your achievements. Like if you have presented a poster in your B-Farm, you can put that in your achievements. If you have attended any conference and you have been presenting a presentation, you can add in your achievements, because presenting a poster itself a big achievement.
Okay, sir.
So we have another question from you that goes, sir, it's a question from BPharm, like final year student. So he also like to ask, sir, if a person after completion of BPharm gets a job, it's into production side. So it is advisable to do an distance in M-Pharm, or it's like only focus on the job?
Wasn't for this question, it's a ambiguity question, because answering this question on this platform won't be suitable, because we have different norms, we have different things in our India, and based on that you can't go for this. So for that it is a always a legal requirements which you should seek for. Like if you're going for an M-Farm in an production, if you need to take prior approvals from your organization whether they are allowing for that or not. Then you have to take a permission from your college what they are having their rules. So it's based, it's more sort of legal thing, and for that you need to answer consult for a legal part, because we are not in a legal. So if I say something, and that wouldn't be good for that part.
Okay, sir, I completely understand it, sir. So we have one more question, YouTube, if you are acceptable to take the question.
Yeah, no issue.
Yes, sir. So we have a question from Ashish Shah. So he asked, like, sir, is there any particular specialization or particular care we need to take during B pharmacy to pursue a career in drug inspector? Like, is there any particular specialized subjects which we need to focus on?
for drug inspector, there is no particular subject you have to focus for, because drug inspector is always, this is a government post, and this post comes with a syllabus. You have for drug inspector, you have complete syllabus, agenda, and exam procedure that is completely different. You can always go for drug inspectors course curriculum. You have a there set different rules for what things you have to focus for. Yeah, for drug inspector, mostly what I prefer is you can select, if you're preparing for drug inspector, you can go for pharmacology, sutics, because mostly what we are dealing is drugs. So drugs should be in a pharmacological actions, we can say, yeah, this drug is right or wrong. And sutics is, you're handling a drug, whether a drug is stored properly or not, whether a drug is branded, or uh, wrong information is given. To identify that part, you can go for sutics and ecology. These are the main, you can say, core, but not this only focusing on this part, you will be selected for drug inspector. For drug inspector, you have to go for the government norms, what they are going for and what they are requiring. You have to go through the notification of the drug inspector, what they are requiring for, and you have to study all subjects what they are requiring.
Okay, sir. Sir, one more question from Tamasa Paul. Sir, after it is helpful if we go for post graduation
Yeah.
courses in pharmacovigilance or clinical research.
Okay, after completing BPharm, is it helpful if we go for post-graduation diploma course, pharmacovigilance? Yeah, sure. You can always see after BPharm, you're going for a certification course. Post-graduation diploma, this is a certification course. If you want to make your career in pharmacovigilance, obviously you can go for, because this post-graduation will add a edge to that part, because you will be having a complete knowledge of the pharmacovigilance. So you can go for this post graduation pharmacovigilance and make your career in pharmacovigilance department. Any diploma, any certification will always add a value to your career. It won't never give a negative impact.
Yes, sir.
Balaram, M-Farm in which subject has more edge to a decent job in R&D industry? You can go for any M-Farms. Like mostly what we are looking is a sutics analysis, medicinal chemistry, pharmacology, and regulatory affairs. You have a M-Farm in regulatory affairs. You can go for an M-Farm in regulatory affairs. In M-Farm is must in any subject, irrespective of the role what you are looking for. If you have a role M-Farm in medicinal chemistry, you can apply a role in an analysis part. If you have a role in analysis, you can go for an formulation team. So that's not a big deal. But yeah, post graduation is required for R&D at least, and that too in a big MNC organization. A post graduation is required. Yeah, if you want to join an small R&D group, then they might be not requiring M-Farm. It's completely based on the organization policies.
Okay, sir. Bansika, you can proceed now. So I guess we are in with the questions now. Thus, we have the same repeated questions again and again.
Yeah.
Bansika, you can proceed.
मॉर्निंग सर।
Okay.
Morning. Yeah, Anurag.
सर क्वेश्चन था कि मैं बी फार्मेसी कर रहा हूँ सर, उसके साथ मैं पार्ट टाइम जॉब भी कर रहा हूँ इवनिंग में, तो सर मैं सीवी में डाल सकता हूँ या नहीं?
हाँ. Obviously, you can add, because see, you have a college hours of 5 hours only, right?
यस सर।
If you are doing that as a voluntary work, as we mentioned in section, you can add this as a voluntary work.
Yes,
Or
sir.
you can
Actually,
even show
sir, 1 साल experience marketing and 4 years experience for business, sir.
this.
तो सर
Obviously,
इसको भी हम
yeah.
सीवी में ऐड कर सकते हैं नहीं? एक्चुअली सर नॉट एडेड फार्मेसी, फार्मेसी से रिलेटेड नहीं है सर, लेकिन फिर भी एक अलग से हम किए हुए हैं।
Obviously, I said na, you can add your information in voluntary works. What you're doing, additional things you can add in voluntary works, because this will make a recruiter realize that yes, this person is having extra skills also, along with these skill sets.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, Anurag, it's a good part. And if you mention it in your CV and in another things, then your PF number and another number is there. ESI also a number is there. That also consider in your career field. So it's a good thing. If you are mentioned, then mention these things also.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Thank.
Okay, I hope we have covered all our questions now.
Hmm.
Okay. Thank you, sir, for your valuable knowledge. We are really grateful. We now know how important it is to mind even the minor details in a resume and how appropriate we should be while facing an interview.
Sure.
So the session was really helpful. Now, I would request Mr. Amit Kumar Tripathi to present a token of appreciation from AOB PSA Parivar for our guest.
To add, Amit Kumar Tripathi is the governing body member of AOBPSA.
Thank you, Anant and all the members. Thank you, Ashok sir. Actually, since last 5 year, I am connected with AOBPSA Parivar, and all these things and all sections are held in our AOBPSA Parivar. And this is a great section conducted with you, sir. And all these things I am listening how to perform in an interview and which type of things and how to answer a interviewer. Not a very knowledgeable things are given by you. And thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thanks
Have a great day, sir.
for your warm words.
Okay, sir.
Sure. Okay.
Thank you,
And
Amit, sir.
yeah, and please feel free if anyone want to contact, they can always contact to me. If you want, you can share my email ID. Anyone have any doubts, they can always contact to me. Thanks.
We will be presenting
Yeah.
the vote of thanks now. Our working president, Mr. Vasadi Anand, will present the vote of thanks now.
So, first of all, thank you, participants, thank you, speaker, thank you, anchor, thank you, everyone, for joining this session. There would be a special thanks to Mr. Rudra Prakash Mahanti, because of whom we got a chance to connect with Ashok Shah. Sir, Ashok Shah, we are really grateful to you because of this particular session, because this is the most wanted session during this outgoing batch of this current scenario, and people
Yeah,
have
I understand.
that may be either to interview or resume.
Mhm.
So one more thing which I just saw in YouTube comments is it is important to see keep marital status in CV or
Mm.
resume.
Yeah, you can in personal, as I mentioned, there is a section in resume for personal details. If you want additional information, you can add that in a marital status. But that's the, if adding and not adding won't make any much difference to your CV, because your marital status doesn't make much difference for a recruiter, because the recruiter is interested in you, not in your marital status.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So thank you for this session. I guess we had taken a lot of your time in this Sunday
No, no,
afternoon.
no. It's all good. Okay, yeah.
So we'll pass on your contact email.
Sure, obviously, yeah.
Anyone have any further questions, you could send him an email.
Ask.
I guess he'll reply back. I can assure you that he will reply back someday. But if he's busy, he'll reply back. He'll reply back for sure. So thank you,
Yeah.
sir. Thank you for accepting this webinar request, and we are really like grateful, and like I'm filled with emotions for having this webinar conducted successfully done.
Okay.
Thank you. Upon that, thank you, the placement cell of AOBPSA, because of whom we are here. And upon that, the man behind this streaming and all, Sriya Patnaik, and all these IT cell members. Thank you, each and everyone, for your cooperations. With that, I think this webinar comes to an end. Thank you, each and everyone, for
Okay.
joining here. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. We're extremely
Okay.
grateful to you, sir.
Okay, most welcome. Okay. Thanks. I'm leaving the call. Bye. Bye.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Friends, you could leave the meeting right now.
Yes, bro.
Sriya, you can cut off the live right now.
So now done, sir.
Thank you,